You know what I want to ask you, Crock? Remember when we went to the Senior Bowl 2 years ago? And we were in that barbecue restaurant. And I think the gentleman behind us heard us talk the 49 quarterbacks. And I forget who was it. I think it was Faraz's Sam Darnold. And he turns around and he says, well, Sam Darnold's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And Crock, I'll never forget this. Your face went like dead serious, and you were like, no, absolutely not. Don't even say that. Like that's not true at all, right? So I'm only pointing this out because there was an idea back, I think like maybe like a year ago where, well, maybe the 49ers should take a look at Sam Darnold. Maybe there are some things that they can fix on it. And so many 49er fans were like, no. I don't want him. He sees ghosts. No. But then there's still this section of the fan base that right now, well, I'd love to see what Sam could do with these weapons and Kyle Shanahan. But when did that switch? Was it 6 games from last year? Like, that's it?
No, I don't think it's that. I think what it is when, let's say they said that, right? Like, hey, Sam Darnold is better than Jimmy. Sam Darnold has not played better football than Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, that's facts, right? Now, if you were to turn around and look at me and say, Sam Darnold is more talented than Jimmy Garoppolo, I would say I 100% agree. But at that time, and even now, he has not played better football than the 49ers. And the same as Brock Purdy and Trey Lance. Trey Lance is more talented than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has played better football than Trey Lance, right? Like, so, like, and to me, you can't dispute that. Like, you can't dispute that. So, with Sam Darnold right now, and I think what people are, kind of looking into is he is more talented, and I think he has, a lot of skill that we would hope that we get out of either Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, like kind of balled up into one person, but he just hasn't played well. So I think the optimism comes from, hey man, what happens if it was more situational, again, because we could throw some of these guys in other situations, and what would that look like, right? Like, what would Trey look like if he went to a team and they were just like, no matter what, we're just going to start you and we're riding with that no matter what, right? Like, what would he look like 2 years later? What if Brock Purdy went to the New York Jets and he didn't have Kyle Shanahan and George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Ray McLeod? Like, if he didn't have all these guys that help, what would it look like? Maybe it looks the same. Maybe it looks great. Maybe it looks bad. And I think that's the part where it's really tough, because when it comes to the quarterback position, it's so, like, there's so many different determining factors that kind of play into someone being more or less successful, even at a certain height, right? I am very interested in, as much as I said Jimmy Garoppolo has played better football than Sam Darnold. I mean, again, can't be disputed. What will it look like when he goes to the Raiders and plays for McDaniel and, is not Kyle? And, okay, we got, Adams and, okay, hopefully, Renfro and stuff like that. Does it still result in wins when you don't have the number one defense continuously taking the ball away? So those are things that I would like to see.
Yeah, that's the thing, is situation is one part of the equation, right? And I think we can agree, having Adam Gase for stretches with Sam Darnold, having the lack of weapons at time. And of course, Sam didn't necessarily play good football either. All of that is part of the equation, right? One thing can't necessarily overshadow the other. And, like I kind of put out on Twitter, like, when people are trying to show you who they are, let them. And I think that there's more of Sam Darnold not playing well for me to,
right.
I can be optimistic on the tools. I'm just not certain that we should be dismissing the other games that he had where he was mediocre to poor in many of them. In spite of, like, just saying, well, Kyle Shanahan and his weapons. It's just, I hear a lot of people being more excited about seeing Sam Darnold in this offense than Trey Lance at times. And I think that's a little bit troubling for me. Like, where they, like, nobody's saying, I can't wait to see Trey with McCaffrey and Kittle and all these guys, but you can't wait to see Sam Darnold? That's my part that's a little, baffling.
Right. And I think that's, I think there are people that, even Brian Baldinger, and I saw someone in the chat bring it up a little while ago where he was like, hey, man, I think Sam Darnold could be QB1. And it's like, well, everything that he's showed you has pretty much been bad.
Right.
And at least with Trey, there's still this level of, like, unknown to where maybe if he has everybody, again, because, week one, I saw somebody say, whoa, 49ers lost week one last week. And it's like, yeah, but how much better would it have been if, hell, even if not there was no George Kittle, there was no Christian McCaffrey, what would it look like if maybe Elijah Mitchell just played the whole game and didn't get hurt in the first half when they were up 10-0? Would it have looked different then? So, I mean, there's that aspect of it as well. And they don't kind of give Trey the same benefit of doubt, as it pertains to like the weaponry and where the team is. So, hell, if the team doesn't bust multiple coverages, they still win that game. So that's something interesting to look at.